Alright guys, I think I'm recording. Yep, recording. Alright, I'm going to answer a couple questions real quick before there gets to be too many of them. It's Sunday morning, man. I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and hope everything's going good for everybody out there. I appreciate all the comments and stuff for sure, and we'll start with that last short video I did. That was a pretty short video, probably one of my shortest. That's good. So it was on the valve seat tip there. You know, that's a pretty cool tip. I learned that at a machine shop I worked at. Of course, we had a TIG welder. You can use a wire welder. I've used it several times and never had an issue. You just want to weld the seat. You know, don't try to weld the head, and you have to let it cool. And you can't do that on a steel head, obviously, because you know you'll weld the seat to the head. Cast iron will weld, so that's not a good way to do that. You need to cut those out. Most cast iron cylinder heads don't have seats in them. The older ones, that's the issue with the unleaded fuel. You know, you have to machine the surface there and put an unleaded seat in it, so a hardened seat. So of course the newer steel heads have the hardened seats in them, but so I wouldn't recommend it on a steel head though. And then oh man, I'm gonna have to get Andrew to help me with that name there, but he's got an issue with the Ford V6, and he's got head gasket issues, and those 3.8s are known for blowing the head gaskets. It's a real problem with those cars. The best fix for that is the ARP head bolts and cosmetic head gaskets. They work real well. You can buy them from Summit or Jegs, and you can get the head bolts there also. If you want to really put the whammy on it, you can get the head stud kit instead of the bolts, and it'll eliminate that head gasket issue on the 3.8s. So that's a little trick you can use on that. And then 255 Chevy said, nice trick. Time to tinker. Tony said, awesome, thanks. And good to see Tony. Watched a couple of his videos with his little Mazda he's doing, and it took us for a ride through the mountains, and he's just got some incredible footage out there, man. It's just really cool mountains, and just really cool to see him on his drive videos. I really like those. So WBM123 said, cool, thanks for watching, buddy. And then Furball, Fireball 02 was here. Good luck with the valve, or good trick with the valve seat. And I just watched his video, and I know this is a big topic in the garage and everything, but there's a comment in here, and I want to get to the comment, but I just want you guys to go watch his video. Somebody had stripped his car and put epoxy primer over it, and there's no etch, and it's rusting under the epoxy. Somebody had made a comment on one of my videos that epoxy was the closest that you could get to the EME coat, and that's the furthest from the truth that could be. We really need to get some painters that paint in the OEM, you know, like guys that work at Chevrolet dealerships and stuff, or maybe worked there in the 90s. I had the pleasure of working at GM in like the mid 90s, and we did a lot of strippers, you know, a lot of peelers, a lot of sealer failures. And the sealer of choice back then was DP40, you know, and epoxy primer. They would epoxy primer the car, and then they'd throw their paint on top of it, and the epoxy primer was failing on all the single stage jobs, so we'd have to strip it down and take the epoxy off, reseal it, and reshoot it. Now, you never take the E-coat off. You know, that's the one thing. If you watch Pete's videos, he talks about using the aircraft stripper because it doesn't compromise the E-coat. The E-coat is electrically put on. When your car is charged, it goes through a vat, and some of the guys that work at dealerships have had the luxury of going to the manufacturing plant. I've been to a couple of them and seen how the E-coat's put on the car, and the car's dipped in the E-coat, and it's electronically put on, much like a powder coating process, and that's how they can dip it and not get runs in it. The E-coat is something that you want to not try to compromise, and that's why the Bondo companies and stuff have made Bondos that stick over painted surfaces. You know, of course, you have to compromise the E-coat when you use a stud gun. If you ever grind through the paint and, you know, you think you got to grind to metal and you put your pen on there and it won't stick, that's the E-coat. That's the stuff that looks like steel. That is completely different than epoxy primer. You'll never see epoxy over bare steel on an OEM finish. It just doesn't happen that way. They don't do it. They put the electronic plating down on the metal first, and then they put the coatings on top of that. So don't be misconceived by the epoxy primer as that's what the OEM uses, because they don't. They use it as a sealer. They don't use it as a rust protector. The OE uses the E-coat, which is the silver looking stuff. Now some guys think E-coat is the black stuff they put on parts, and that's not E-coat. You know, that's a primer, and unless you buy the part, unless it's a Kappa part or an OEM part from the dealer, chances are that coating's not even been salt tested. If you buy a part from a dealer and it's black, it's been salt tested for at least 50 hours, and you can get that information. You notice that coating is fine to leave on the part. A lot of these aftermarket parts we buy are just dipped in black paint. You know, the cheapest stuff they can find just to coat the steel. And the steel is not plated when you take the coating off on the cheaper parts. Now, if you buy a GM part, you know you're going to have that plating process on that part, just like if you had the car dipped. And that's something that we can't put on the car. The closest thing we can get to that is the etch primer, guys. And that's why I use etch, because it chemically treats the steel. And that eliminates that stuff, you know, like if you go look at Furball's car, you know, where the epoxy primer was rusted under the epoxy. And that's why I don't like to put epoxy over bare steel, just for that reason, you know. And I showed it on that convertible. I sort of did it on purpose, you know. I put etch primer and epoxy on one side of the car, and I epoxied the other half, pushed it outside, and the side with epoxy rusted. So a little bit of information there. Epoxy's nowhere close to the factory E-coat. Just don't be deceived by that. So, and then John Banks said, always learn something new. And thanks for watching, buddy. And AK-47 pop off. Cool tip on the valve seat. And great information on removing the valve seat from an aluminum head. Turbo Cobra, very cool tip. Motor is looking good. What kind of RPM can you turn with a motor like that? With a non-counterweighted crank, you know, the limit's probably about 6,000 RPM, and it starts beating the case up pretty hard. On the aspirated setups, like the race cars we build with, you know, the 16-to-1 compression motors, you know, the all-out race motors, will turn them 10,000. And you know, a good street car you could turn 8,500, 7,500, depending on the parts, you know, of course. But you know, if you got all the scat valve train and stuff like that, you might want to limit it to about 6,500. You know, you better have some good stuff, some Potter rockers or some decent valve train. You know, I mean, it's like with anything, when you get up in the higher RPMs, that's where the damage starts happening. You can get valve float and all that good stuff, but there's power up there. So turbo cars, you know, you don't have to turn it. That's why I like the turbo motors. You know, my car, I turn it right about 7,000, I think, is max RPM, and makes about 400 horsepower with 15 pounds of boost. So turbochargers are the way to go. A lot easier on the motor. And then 56 rat bug, awesome trick on the valve seat. Didn't know you could do that. Yep, and I saw his video the other day of that wagon thing he's got. That's freaking awesome, and definitely looked like he was enjoying the Volkswagen experience on the way home there. Pete 1972, he thought it was a neat trick. He's going to tell some people about that. And then Ghetto Wagon, does the valve seat trick work on cast iron too? And I answered him right away. I said no, because it, you know, like I told you guys, I wouldn't recommend it. WFD 805. Man, it looks like you're busy. Thanks for taking the time to answer my question. No problem. It's good talking to you on the phone, buddy. Anytime you need to call or whatever, you know. And I hope your issue works out for you there, you know. And if you got any more trouble, just call me, and we'll get through it. You know, don't get discouraged. And then the Viper Mech, it's a great trick on the valve seat. Thanks. Now I can't believe the Viper Mech didn't know that trick, because he's pretty slick. You know, he doesn't miss much. So hopefully he can use that trick. It's pretty cool if you got a small shop, you know, and you're doing cylinder head work. If you don't like taking the heads to a machine shop, because you know it's expensive. If you've got a shop, that's a big part of the cylinder head bill when you're doing a repair. And a lot of times, you know, like I could have grabbed those cylinder heads at the boneyard the other day and fixed those for that Hemi motor, you know, that were laying there with the seats that fell out. You know, if you get a seat that's loose, that's easy to do. If the seat's loose, you know, chances are it's going to be damaged there. But if you have to replace the seat, it's easy to weld that up. It comes right out, and you knock it in, and when you use the install tool, it centers off the valve guide, and the hole's pretty square, you know, and you knock it out that way. It doesn't distort the hole, so it'll take a new seat. And when you're putting a seat in at a shop and you don't have a lot of tools, what I like to do is I take the seat and I'll put it in the deep freeze, and I'll freeze the seat overnight, and then I'll take the cylinder head and I'll put it on a hot plate, and it'll give you your crush. You know, you won't have to compromise your hole when you're beating it in, and the seat will fall in there fairly easy, and when everything comes back to temperature, the seat will be nice and tight, and that's the way you get your crush. So 1986 Hambone said good stuff. He loved the valve seat trick. Cecil, cool trick. NC Automan, cool trick. We're going to move on to the next video. So hopefully you guys aren't getting bored of me answering the videos this way. And for some of you guys that are new, I do this because I'm dyslexic and it's hard for me to type or reply. That's why if you got a question or if you need to talk to me about something, it's just easier if you call me. You know, if somebody called me yesterday, I called you right back, and you know, that's why I give that number out. So don't be afraid to call. It's a lot easier for me. And then Tommy, Wild Eye Northern Boy, he said that, you know, he has some problems with that red hardener, the pigment bleeding out of it, and he's seen that too. So I like the blue, and it seems to be the, you know, through the shop. And you'll notice that the cheaper Bondos usually have the red hardener. I don't know why that is. You know, the exception would be the Quantum 1, which is probably one of the better Bondos out there. They have two different hardeners, and one's blue and one's red, and that's for different speed. The red's the slow for the large panel repair, and I don't think that you have to worry about any kind of failure with the Quantum 1. It's probably the, you know, the premier Bondo right now. You know, it's an epoxy technology, and there's a lot of the latest and greatest stuff goes into that stuff. So, you know, as far as rust proofing and all kinds of stuff. So good stuff. Very pricey though. Thin painter, you need to take time off and make a sandbox. That damn cat, man, needs to go outside. You know, I asked you guys that because the old black cat, he would never go in the building. You know, he was like a dog. You let him out and he'd go outside, but that cat likes to crap in the building. It doesn't like to go outside. It's like the sun or something bothers it. So Belgian Muscle, he's watching. Yeah, I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for watching. And Little Miracles, try a litter box like everybody else. It's a good tip, man. I just don't want to get in the habit of having to change that nasty ass litter box. I'd really like to try to get it to go outside, and but I think I'm gonna have to break down. And it's a feral cat, so I mean, I don't know if you got to train a cat to use a litter box, or if I just put it back there and it'll prefer that, and I'll try that. But, and then oh, look at this, glasses. Rider Down. Thank you, Darren, for answering my question that I had. Sorry I have not called. Been feeling really bad past few days. Thanks again. Well, dude, I hope you feel better, you know, and thanks for watching the videos. I know a couple guys are missing from the garage right now, and you know, never good when we don't see the regulars. I'm missing Dan Electrode. I haven't seen him in a while. I did personal message him, and he said he wasn't feeling good, but I was hoping to see some videos from him this week, you know, something. But hopefully Neil is feeling good. and you know, everything's good there, man. You know, it's like we get used to seeing a video from guys, and when they don't put a video up, you sort of worry about them. So if you guys are in contact with him, man, you know, see what's going on, you know. Hopefully everything's good. Great video, glad I found ya. How to join the YouTube garage. I'm putting some more VW racing videos. Oh man, this guy's, he's got some cool old videos. The old videos are just cool, you know, you guys that are converting the stuff over from the VHS. I wish I had some of my old videos. That's something that I've never been good at, is saving pictures. When I funny car race, I had pictures and I lost all that stuff. I had some really good stuff, and you know, I just got to keep the pictures in my head. But guys that document stuff and stuff like that and save it, I think it's cool. You know, when they put old pictures up. Old pictures are really cool. So you guys that got old pictures and stuff, that's something that would make a neat video, you know. I like the old ones. Matt did that too with some of his old stuff, and it's really cool to check out some of, you know, Matt's old videos, and you know, just different guys that put old stuff up. Anyway, getting sidetracked. That's why it takes an hour to do this. And then yeah, I've been watching your videos, and I saw your 1941 break-in video and all that stuff, and it was cool, man. Thanks for putting the videos up. And then HO Motorsports, good video. Have to 2 family members deployed, and yeah, man, that's today. We're going to the party tonight, and I'll get to see my cousins and stuff. And it's tough, man, when you got family members over there. And you know, we've been able to sort of make contact with them through the computer and send some stuff over to them, and that's been cool. And my other cousin's stationed in California now. He's got a Volkswagen, and he puts some videos. I put them in my favorites, but those guys do some you know, hard work over there, and a lot of us, you know, we forget about, you know, what they do, and you know, we appreciate the military for sure. So Time to Tinker, really liked the metal sign work. That guy was really cool. There was one guy that didn't like it, you know, so we got one dislike on that, but I had 51 likes, so that was cool. So, and then James Freddy, you know, Jeff, photo finish there, and he said he always thought there should be certifications on fillers. So that would be a good idea, you know, but you know, it's like like I tell you guys, the guys that put videos up that have shops, you know, look at the fillers they're using. They'll never use the cheap Bondo, and if you have a shop, that's just one place that a supplier won't let you skimp. They won't give you the Bondo deal. They you know, there's only a certain level they can scrimp to because it affects their warranty. So if I'm a paint supplier and I'm supplying your body shop, I'm not going to sell you the $14 Dynafill, you know. I'm going to sell you the, you know, Bondo that's made to go over painted surfaces, and that you can use clear coat over, and all that good stuff. And that's why you don't see cheap Bondo in body shops that do insurance work and that, you know. When they have to give a lifetime warranty and stuff, the materials you use have to be certified. If you use Matrix in a body shop, that's why it has to be certified through the insurance council or whatever it is. You know, the same idiots that make you use the Kappa parts in the aftermarket. It's sort of to ensure that you're using a quality product, you know, and that the repair is going to last. So Bondos are something where that you can get in trouble with. You know, I always say, you know, you don't want to scrimp at the beginning of the job. You'd be better to use cheap paint and stuff than, you know, use cheap primer and build your house on sand. It just doesn't make sense to me, you know, to save 20 bucks on a gallon of Bondo. And I know, you know, guys don't have the money to buy it sometimes, and my answer to that is just wait, you know. So good talk. These signs are cool. Good to hear your cousins are back. Thanks, man. That's Rich Sodajet. So he's still must be busy, not making a lot of videos lately. Rich used to make a lot of videos riding the bike and stuff. Hopefully it's getting to be Harley weather soon. He'll take us on a bike ride. And then we got Death Rider 1974. He says he told me to get some kitty chow and stuff, and I did that. I tried it. They still wouldn't eat it. The mom cat really liked it though, so it didn't go to waste. So I think they got a little bit longer. They're just getting teeth, you know, so it can't be good for the mommy cat. So, and then CWK 1981. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. You know, we'll see some bids from you soon. He said 8 weeks before the babies can leave the mom, and he figures about 4 to 5 weeks before they start on the food. So should be any time now with the food. Southwest Customs, thanks for the morning coffee video. Signs are, as Matt said, badass, and they are cool. You know, he can do he can make whatever, man. Buses, Novas, Gias, Camaros, you know, any kind of font you want. So I think it's pretty much endless, whatever you guys want. If you want a sign, somebody asked me about the signs, and I got that real big VW sign, powder coated, and then I've got the 3 or 4 signs for Andrea's, 3 signs for Andrea's desk. And I got the Volkswagen, and I think I paid $70. So the stuff's very reasonable. It's not very expensive, you know, and you could probably get a little bit cheaper if you wanted it raw, not powder coated, you know, if you just wanted to cut it out and then you can paint it yourself. So I'm going to definitely try to get him to post at least a phone number up. Maybe somebody can tell me how to put a link on my page or whatever until we get him to make a page. But and then the kittens have really grown. First one to get, I get the first one, Mr. VW Gigolo. Holy crap, man. Mr. VW Gigolo made a comment. So we haven't seen him in a while. Let's all get him to make a video. You know, what's going on out there in sunny California. Grab that camera, record something for us. Make one of those Volkswagen videos for us. Or take us to a car show, something. And then Turbo Cobra, he said he hates the red hardener also, and he always used the blue until the Quantum 1. And we talked about the Quantum 1. He's the only one in the garage that I know that has tried the Quantum 1, and I think he really liked it other than the price. You know, like I said, it's very expensive. A lot of the guys also like the 3M in the dispenser. I think Rich has used that. It's pretty good quality stuff, and it seems to be pretty nice too. It's a little cheaper than the Quantum 1. It's not the epoxy type Bondo like the Quantum is, but it's good. And then the Rat Bug 56, good words, thanks for the vid. And then Turbo Cobra BTW it's the best to put etch. Oh yeah, he's being smart about the epoxy bare steel thing, because everybody jokes about that, because it's a pretty asked question, you know. And then here's the one that says epoxy is the closest you can get to the factory E-coat. No, we went over that, and I've been to the factory, man. I've seen the cars dipped, and the epoxy primer, if you strip the car, it's a process. It's after the E-coat. It's just a sealer, and they use it as a sealer to cover scratches before they put the sprayed the paint down, and they use it for an adhesion. It's not used for any kind of rust protection. Epoxy isn't at the factory. The E-coat is. So, a little tip there. And if you don't believe me, you can probably go on YouTube and look at the manufacturing process on any car, and you'll see the first process is the, of course, the bare steel body. Then it goes through a wash, and then after it goes through the wash, it gets electrically charged and goes through the E-coat tank, and that's the first process in the paint process. And that's the one thing that we can't replace in the paint business, is that process. It's very caustic, it's very EPA not friendly, and that's why it's a dip process, not sprayed. And so check those videos out. They're out there for sure. And if you work at Toyota and you take the training program, you'll get a chance to walk through the manufacturing facility and see that for yourself. So there's some of you guys that I know that are gonna get to check that out. So, and hopefully you can share some of that when you come back from the Toyota University, because there's a lot of good information that you learn there. I can guarantee you that. It's 7 days of nothing but, you know, the manufacturing process and repair processes. So good stuff. And then we got Turbo Cobra again. He likes the Striper. And the Striper's cool cat for sure. I'll send it to you. So, yep. And then AQ47, cool words on the Bondo. And you know, I just whether I sell you the Bondo or not, guys, you really need to do some research on the Bondo. You know, I've tried to bring the catalogs out, and I show you right there that they say whether they're for bare steel, whether they're for a painted surface, whether they're for a clear coat or not. And it's not really my opinion, you know. When I get the book out and show you guys what the manufacturer says, it's pretty much fact, you know. It's not my opinion, and I have nothing to gain by you using the good Bondo, you know. I'm not selling it to you. I'm just telling you that the cheap Bondo is going to bite you in the ass. And yeah, there's guys out there that use it, but you got to remember, the guys out there that use the cheap Bondo, you have to watch the whole process, you know. Don't watch part of the video and just say, oh man, look, he uses a cheap Bondo and that's what I'm going to use, and then you do something different, and then the whole thing is not going to work for you, you know. It's like guys got an argument. I mean, tell me, well, I seen a guy and he puts it over bare steel, you know, and he doesn't have any problems. And you know, well, the guy that they were talking about never goes to bare steel. He goes to the E-coat, and big difference, you know. Take the grinder to the car and the E-coat's gone. You got no rust protection, and I guarantee you, you put Bondo over that bare steel, and 3 or 4 years or 2 years from now, there's gonna be rust under it. So. And you know, you guys that are in wet climates know that when you take Bondo off and it's on bare steel, it's always rust underneath there. Just, you know, I'm not the only guy that finds that stuff, I'm sure. So, oh man, Velvet Hammer, you must be cutting a lot of grass because we ain't seeing no paint videos. How about a little GoPro lawnmower action or something, buddy? A little video. You know, we still like to see a video from you. But you said good stuff. And he uses good quality products when he does paint work. So he's one of those guys that does a little research, and that goes a long way. So, and well, man, some of you guys I'm not even gonna try it. I'm not even gonna try this one, guys. I enjoy your answering questions though, and I thanks for watching, buddy. And I'm gonna learn your names. You guys know in the past, if you're new to my channel, I'll subscribe to you if you make a comment, and I will learn your name and I'll get it right next time. And then we got Cigar Captain says the militaries don't start wars, the politicians do. Thankfully we have brave people in our military to keep us safe. Damn politicians, thanks for the great vids. Yeah, I agree, you know. I mean, it's pretty crazy, man. You know, these guys are willing to jump on a plane and go somewhere and leave the country. And I don't know if a lot of you guys have ever left the country or been away from home, but I sort of made a deal with myself that I would never leave the country again, and I'll never leave home if I can't walk back, you know. I don't care if it takes a few days, but I ain't going. So yeah, those guys, like I said, they do I mean, you can't even think about being somewhere and dropped off in the middle of a desert until you've done it. And it's a long way from home, man. And it's a different world out there when you leave the United States. So they do a great job for us. And you know, if you're in the military and you need help with anything, we do give a military discount. And if I can help you in any way, you just let me know. So, and then be bugging out. Love seeing the German Power and the metal, the shop. Yep, there's a lot of guys like that. Sandtech, he said sick metal work, and you know, when he likes something, it's badass. So I knew Sandtech would like that Camaro. That's right up his alley, man. That guy's done all the fabrication there himself on that, and he's doing all the body work. Apparently, he's done body work and stuff in the past, and he's done that from the ground up, everything but the motor and tranny. He ordered the motor and the tranny built, but he did all the frame, and you know, so he's done some nice fabrication for sure. And then I saw where they cut frame rails on that CNC plasma. They, you know, they can cut thicker metal, but they cut them in plates and then boxed them all together, rear frame section. So that was pretty cool too. Cecil 6711. Great video. Please thank your cousin. I'll tell him thanks for you, buddy. And he watches all our videos, so Hambone 1986, right on, man. Hats off to our troops. And then Slow SRT, that bug sign is badass. And then Silver Horse 347 for sure. I watched your videos. When I grew up, we had a Mustang just like that when I was a kid. Of course, it didn't have a small block in it. It was a 4-cylinder or some, you know, piece of crap car. And yeah, so. And I think that's about it. I wanted to do this too. That Bob sent me something really cool. I got a box from Bob. He sent me this little VW. Let me see if I can get the light there going on that. VW thing here. A little crystal ball and a little chain thing. I think Andrea's taking this one, Bob. She's going to put this on her necklace. And this is going to go on my YouTube Hall of Fame over there. So it's always cool to get stuff from you guys when you make stuff. It's really it's awesome, you know. The talent in the garage is just the different stuff, the crafts and stuff I get. It's that's the cool stuff for sure, and I appreciate it. And I'm working on some stuff, you know, for some guys out there, and I'm gonna try to do some different things and you know, stuff like that. So, and I want to say it's good seeing Dave this morning. Saw your video on your Passat. Watched a couple videos, and yeah. So let me upload this. It'll probably take hours, and I don't know if you guys will watch it or not. But we'll do some more videos, and we might work on that motor a little bit. Got it cleaned up last night. Got to find some lifters and a cam, buy some piston cylinders, and do some heads. I'm gonna try to get Lily primed today. So I cleaned up some of the motor mess, going to get covered. I got those 2 estimates I'm working on. And I had a guy come over yesterday that needed a motor, so there must be something in the air with the motor thing. The motors are starting to take off, and that's sort of what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to finish up Lily Bomb there, and you know, unless I get somebody that wants me to build them a bug or something like that, I'm going to sort of limit my stuff to the Volkswagens on the repair end, the paint end. You know, if somebody wants a resto, I'll make room for it. But I think when I get these cars done and get my stuff painted, I'm going to go ahead and change over to the mechanical side of it. You know, I've been putting it off. I'm going to buy a CNC cutter. You know, I'm going to buy some machine shop equipment and get my building replumbed with some different power, and buy a boring bar, and probably going to go to the machine shop side of it. You know, I think I can do the cylinder head thing a lot easier than the trannies and the motors. It's just easier work. You know, you guys that have tried the bodywork stuff, it's hard work. It's, you know, even if you're doing it just for a little extra income, it's hard to do, you know. And sort of going to fall back on the mechanical stuff. I enjoy that sort of more, you know. You know, it's not that I don't have spent a lot of time in the auto body business, but I spent 15 years in the mechanical side of it, and then you know, I decided to go into the body business, and I trained to be a body tech, and I got sidetracked into the mechanical side of it at a young age. And you know, I sort of walked away from it, you know. Not really though. On the high performance side, I've always liked building motors and stuff, but so I think I'm going to get more into that stuff, and I'll still be into the bodywork stuff for sure, you know, but the videos are probably going to be more engine stuff, more turbo stuff, and going to get back into making the power, you know. I think when you make those kind of videos, the bullshit sort of stops when you go to the track and the green light drops, you know. It sort of removes all doubt. There's no question whether it's theory or fact once you know, the scoreboard lights up. So that's what I enjoy, and I think we'll be getting into some of that stuff. So stay tuned, guys, and thanks for watching. Hope that wasn't too painful for you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.